Hi everyone, my name is Laura and I'm here with Dean. In this short video, we are going to highlight some new ITAM features from VIZOR's latest release. I want to show everyone one of my favorite updates. So Dean, can you actually show us a few of the new features and the look and feel of VIZOR?
Yeah, sure. So there's a new color scheme. We also have some new modern looking icons as well. For IT asset managers, by default, we've added the charges and fees functionality as a quick link to their homepage. So charges and fees was introduced in the last release, but it's now available by default to IT asset managers. So if there's a fee, for example, maybe a screen replacement related to an asset, then it's easy for asset managers to see the status of that chargeback. If we go to the assets view, then there's been some usability improvements to the summary list as well. So if we just dive into here and look at some desktops, then we can see for the status of each of the assets, then we have a color coding system. So we can see those assigned in blue, in storage, and those which are in repair in orange there. We're using the same color coding system within our reports as well. So at a glance, it's more easy to see the status of the assets. On the summary list too, we're now by default hiding some of the action buttons along the right here, unless one or more assets are selected, and then we show the buttons. So the more context aware, and the buttons are there when they need to be, but keeping the interface nice and clean when they're not needed.
Yeah, and I really like that we're color coding here in the user interface, and then also in the reports, keeping everything very, very consistent. And I actually want to move forward now. So in VIZOR, we have a great area for monitoring purchases of the assets. Can you show us what's new in this area?
Yeah, so there's been some significant changes to how we're managing purchases with assets in this release. So in previous releases, the purchase information for an asset was at a per asset level, which could have the possibility of duplication of information. So now we're linking an asset to a purchase record, which is much more similar to how we handle purchases for software assets previously. So at the top level, then we're still showing for each asset how much the asset cost, where the asset was purchased from, and when the asset was purchased. But as you can see here, this is all coming from a central purchase. So in this case, we have a purchase for a desktop refresh. Also, another new feature for assets and purchases is that multiple purchases can now be associated to a single asset. So previously, it was one purchase for each asset. Now you can have, as you can see, sort of many different purchases. So here we have a line item. If we quickly view that line item using our new quick view, then we can see the information about that additional purchase. So in this case, it's an extended warranty, 5 desktops. And if we click through there, then we can see it has a sort of temporary duration. And if we wanted to change that line item, then we can do so directly from this view as well.
Yeah, I really like this. Also, I want to point out the warranty tab. Apparently, we have some new features there as well.
Yeah, so there's a new warranty tab, and it provides at a glance where you can see if the warranty is active for that particular asset and when that warranty expires.
Yeah, very cool. And for our IT asset management module, we've also introduced a few reports. Can you bring us through some of those?
Yeah, so there's a number of new reports. We have a new book value report. So this can be opened based on asset class. So in this case, I've opened it for all of the computers, and we can see those different asset types associated with computers, so desktops and Chromebooks. If we scroll down, then we have a breakdown as well of the information. So for desktops, we can see our average purchase price, so just shy of $600 there. And after 12 months usage, then we can see the current book value of each of the assets, so the $214. And we also total up the total book value, in this case for all of the desktop assets. So the book value is based on the depreciation scheme, which is linked to each of the individual assets, and the current sort of stage of the life cycle of those assets. Another new report is the Asset Changes report. So this can be opened using a number of different parameters. So it could be all the changes associated maybe to an employee or an asset type. In this case, I've set a date range. I want to see all the changes within a particular month. So at the top here, we see all the assets which are changed within that time frame, and we have a breakdown of each of the individual assets which have changed. And if we scroll down, then we can see some more detail on each of those changes. So for example, here we can see a Chromebook was assigned to Chris. When it was assigned, it moved from in storage to an assigned status. And it's also been linked now to a department and a location.
Yeah, and I love that you're seeing the color coding in this report, which we were talking about earlier. So that's very cool to see that full circle. And I want to kind of shift gears here and talk about approval workflows. We have a pretty cool new feature, if you can show us that too.
Yeah, so there's been some nice changes to approval workflows within this release. So we have a number of new macros and workflows for where all people reject or a subset of people reject an approval. But yeah, one of my favorite new features is the ability to set an approval based on the cost of the asset. And as we see here, we can support a number of different cost levels. So in this example, if the asset costs less than $500, then we have no approvals at all. If the asset is between $500 and $10,000, then we have a management level approval. And if it's over $10,000, then we're requesting approval from a manager and a director. These approvals can easily be placed into any existing approval workflows you may have today. There's a new macro, so if you have a workflow, you can place this approver by cost level very simply into any of the approval workflows you may have.
Yes, very interesting. Well, thank you, Dean, for showing us all these new features. And for everyone listening, just a reminder that these are only some of the features from the latest release. There are actually over 30 new features and updates. So if you want to get all of that information, you can visit our website, www.vizor.cloud, in our documentation section. And if you have any questions, you can email us, ask@vizor.cloud, and we look forward to hearing from everyone. Thank you for joining us today.